Survivor, the Survivor pool content. I was wondering if we were going to do NCAA basketball. For those of you that don't remember Brave Jayhawk, where you guys been living under a rock? We were doing the NFL all season, and we both had very, very good success, and we didn't even have a chance to wrap it up. But needless to say, Michael did very, very well all the way through the playoffs. And it's very rare that you have a pool like that. And to go through the playoffs like that is difficult, not to mention the fact that he was the same pool that he had won in the past, which is, as I recall. So that was excellent. But the NCAA Survivor pool stuff, so I want to talk about that, but I'm also I can't help it. I'm going to be doing my first baseball Survivor pool this year, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it with Bobby. What it is you have to pick a team to have a 500 or better record for the week, and you only get one shot. That's like anything else. You got to plan out the season. You got to pick teams that have an even number of games so that you could probably
have a chance to tie.
So you have the chance to tie. Like if you're 3-3, the last thing you want is another game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess those are the things you have to watch for. But as far as the NCAA, I did one video on it last year because I was involved in a pool, and I did it just to for my own sanity because it could become quite the mind f. Okay. Like, especially if, God forbid, you survive the first two rounds or something like that. You have to.
You sound like me there.
Yeah, you have to. You don't even realize what happens, unless you plan. And I swore last year after I did it, I was either never going to play again, or
you really sound like me.
Right, or I was, but it wasn't because of like I lost or whatever. It's because I just my brain just exploded when I put in my picks in the first round, and unless you set yourself up in like the first round, you can survive, and then like next thing you know, like you have like one path after like round two. You know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
And it requires like you really have to just take the full step back from the whole thing. By the way, we are live, even though I told people that. Adam, come in with all the questions you want. It's the pool rules differ a little bit, but basically it comes down to this. It's some variation of you have to pick one team every day, sort of. Okay. Depending on the rules of the pool. Like some of them, they say, okay, you have to pick one pick on Thursday, one pick on Friday, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, and then continuing onward right up until the Final Four into the Final Two. There are other variations, which are pretty sadistic. The one that I'm in, you have to pick 2 games on Thursday and then 2 games on Friday.
Ooh, I think I want to get in that one. That's nice and quick.
To get yourself going. But then they give you a little bit of a break in the Elite 8. In that Saturday, Sunday, you could pick from either day or something like that. Like you don't have to pick both Saturday and Sunday or something like that.
Are you picking 2 teams from the
you
Elite 8
are,
total?
You are, but you don't have to necessarily pick it from each day or something
Correct,
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they give you a break there, but the pool I'm in that does the 2 picks a day, Thursday and Friday, it's the same pool that starts double picks in NFL in like week 8. It's definitely designed to just get people the hell out of there. You know what I mean? So basically, I think what's also kind of cool about it is, I hope this is the case, is that there's not like all that much content on it. You know what I mean? Like
that's what makes it fun. It's not
exactly.
as solvable. There's a lot of feel and instinct to it.
And like, there's no like real ownership projections that I would trust. Whatever it is, but you can think about it. You know what I mean? And I honestly, some of the pools, I don't even know how many people are in it until it closes. You know what I mean? I'm presuming it's going to be a bunch. Whatever. But I guess the idea, the concept, is that is you want to pick teams that will win, and then right now, and then never again. Okay, that's basically what you want. And So if a team that you really, really like, you want to almost never pick them. You know what I mean? You want to just have it come. And then as it gets later on, if we survive, maybe we'll do a follow up next week. Is that then it becomes like this cool thing, but that you're going to need two things to happen anyway. So you may as well pick one of them. You know what I mean? Because you're going to need it to happen. So
well, you want to pick the more unique one. But yes, you do. It gets to the point you need two things to happen.
Right. And that sort of becomes fun. But the idea again is to pick a team that you're sort of confident is going to win now, that you're ultra confident is either not going to win next, or at the very least not win, multiple times after that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like if you take a shot and you pick say Kansas or I don't say Kansas. I met this is what I did last year. I mean, some stupid pick like Kansas. Next thing you know, I'm like, what the hell did I just do? It's basically just ruined the whole pool at the beginning, unless they lose right out in round 2 or something like that. So that's kind of the idea. Now I guess mathematically, what you could do, and this is you tell me what you do. What I do is I say, okay, you can look at projections about who's likely to make it to the final 16, and you can figure out what their round 2 matchup is. So at least at the very beginning, as far as making picks, you want a team that's has a good chance to win week 1, that does not favor to be that big of a favorite in week 2. Okay, and there are a bunch of examples of this, or ones that are kind of a moderate favorite week 1, but rate to be an underdog in week 2. Okay, and those are the ones you want to look at. But then the real thing is to pick teams that are on other sides of the universe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Pick them all the way here, all the way there, all the way there, all the way there. Otherwise, you just box yourself in. What did I miss? Tell me how you look at these things. Do you have an experience doing that? I've done this 2 years worth of this stuff.
I've done it 4 times.
Okay.
This is a true mind fuck.
Yep.
I can't even explain what we did. I texted out in the Discord. The first year Jesse and I played this, we would have won, but it was it was the inflection point of the entire tournament. It was maybe the Thursday, Friday of the second week, and we only had 2 entries left, and we had our 2 teams we were going to pick. But that was the year Kentucky was 50% to win the whole thing. I thought it was very important that we had an entry with Kentucky not winning, so we don't chop it too many ways. And we picked the correct teams, but we put them on the wrong entry, and we didn't realize. Well, Jesse realized it after we were out. I think he realized it after the whole thing was over. He went back and looked to give us a suffering. But it's very important that you set up a path. The whole thing here is about setting up a unique path. There's a lot of different strategies. Now, in terms of predicting popularity, I played in one pool twice, and then it transformed with a different group. But the first 2 years, I still have the pick projections for every single round. Now, that would be useful if we were playing with the same exact group. Right. But it still gives you an idea. A lot of people love taking the 4-point favorited 9 seed or 10 seed, because then they're going to play the 1 or the 2, presumably be, a 6 to 12 point underdog. And that's a good situation. It is a good situation until everybody does that, and then you're on the chalk team. So you should not do that. We've tried a variety of strategies. This year, we're going to go a little bit different. And it's a strategy that we did, I think, the second year. It was actually with my alma mater, St. Mary's. I was a manager. I don't know if you know this.
Wait, hold on. You went to St. Mary's?
First. Yes.
We never talked about this. Okay, wait, when did you graduate St. Mary's?
Well, we went to school there. We did not graduate. But
when did you go to school there?
The first year of the current coach's head coach. His first year was my first year. The head coach.
I keep forgetting you're a baby. How old are you again?
I'm 39.
Okay, so you're like an infant. Let me
well, listen though. When my parents said I had to go to private college, so I applied to 3. I applied to like 6 and I got into 3. And I chose the one that had a Division I basketball team because I wanted to be a manager on a Division I basketball team, even though I never played basketball. I loved the college basketball tournament as a kid. So that's why I chose St. Mary's. The year before I went there, St. Mary's was 2-29. They were second to last in Ken Palm. Brand new coach, and there was a flyer on the maybe the first few weeks I was there. It said, if you want to be a manager of the basketball team, call this number. I called the number. I was the only one that showed up, and I was an assistant manager for the St. Mary's basketball team for 2 years before transferring to Kansas. And I go to the WCC tournament in Las Vegas. I've been like 7 times, and there's a small group of us from that team that all go to the game together. And it's a lot of fun to reconnect with those guys now 21 years later. So St. Mary's is I'll say it's my shared love with Kansas, and they might play each other in the NCAA tournament this year. I'd be very excited for that.
Okay, so now we have to, unfortunately, everybody, but I don't care because this is, like they said in talk radio, it's your show, Barry, so it's my show. Everybody's have to waste now 10, 15 minutes hearing my St. Mary's story. Okay, so now this is back when you were like 2 years old in like 1989 or so, 1988. So I was in college and I was betting on sports, and this is back when Loyola Marymount was really good. With Hank Gathers and Bo Kimball, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, okay. 1991, 92.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. Right. Sorry about that. Actually, no. This particular one was earlier than that. It was 19. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there was a game in November. This is like before even the conference starts, where Loyola Marymount. Remember, they pushed the ball up the court like unstoppably. Like put up 130 points a game. They didn't care if they gave up 100. They had Paul Westhead coaching. And when they went to St. Mary's to play the game, Lynn Nance, who was the coach of St. Mary's, what he did was he instructed his managers to tie the nets tighter.
That's incredible.
So that the ball would take an extra half of a second to come down out of the net, so that they couldn't pull it out and run their numbered break. Okay. So when I heard that, I'm like, you know what? This is like my new favorite hero. He's my favorite coach. This is November. So that year in December, they were playing that out of conference schedule, and they were playing like a kind of a well-known Penn State team. And St. Mary's is like a 3-point favorite. And I'm like, listen, no one's ever heard of the St. Mary's team. If they're the 3-point favorite, they're probably like a lock. And I bet on them, and they won, I think, 78-54. This is December. And I'm like, this is like my favorite team ever. And I basically rode them the whole freaking season. And I said, you know what I'm going to be doing? The first round of the NCAA tournament, all right? This is back when, you had to do this. I'm going to be going, and I lived in Boston. I was in college. I said, I'm going to be going out to Vegas to bet on St. Mary's. And I don't care who the hell they play, okay?
I love this.
And I was planning on this forever, okay? And so I was talking with my friend, who's also my survivor pool partner, who I've referred to a lot. And we were saying, okay, what would be the best if they got some totally overrated, like ACC team that just people had a name for, okay, and played
Wake Forest.
Right. So came out, they were playing Clemson, right? So I said, oh, this is like easy breezy. So I had a plane flight. I was going to I took money from him. I took about like 8 times my net worth, okay, in cash, okay. We flew out to Vegas, me and my friend. Okay, my friend Brian. We had to make a stopover in Minneapolis. And my transfer got completely delayed by 2 hours. I left myself a full 2 hours of window to get there in time.
Yeah.
But yet still, so the flight lands in Las Vegas about literally 11 minutes before the game is supposed to start. So I made up some story to the stewardess. I said, I have to get to the front of the plane because I'm in a blackjack tournament that starts in 10 minutes. And so they let me go. I said, Brian, I'll meet you there. As soon as the doors open, I sprinted through the airport, McCarran Airport, okay? I said, I'm going to rent to get a taxi, huge taxi line. And then so is there a limousine there? They said, do you need a place? I'm like, I need to go to the nearest sports book, and I need to be there in 10 minutes. They said, great. Boom. Blasted me in the sports book. I run in there. And the game started like 30 seconds ago. I said, I have to be able to bet St. Mary's. And the spread was like St. Mary's by like 2. And he says, I can't take him. I flew over from Boston. He says, all right, I'll give you 1,500 at 2, but then I got to give you 1,500 at 3. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah. I'm like, fine, I'll do it. Fine. So I put it. This is after the game was started. He let me have this. So I breathe. I go look up at the TV. Like 5 minutes later, St. Mary's 16, Clemson 4. I'm like, let's go. So I went. I said, I met my friend Brian at the other casino. I'll get there. We'll kind of sweat this. So we get there, and what I didn't realize, well, because nobody knew at the time, Clemson had Eldon Campbell and Dale Davis on the team together, right? These guys both ended up in the NBA, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically the whole second half, I had to watch Dale Davis and Eldon Campbell dunk on me the entire half, winning, beating St. Mary's, going away. Eldon Campbell making 10 of 10 basically free throws down the stretch to ruin my entire life. So that is my St. Mary's story.
But but the most important thing is you have a story that comes from it. You got to share with me today.
Okay. So speaking of which,
the reason I brought St. Mary's up was other than to say why I'm wearing this shirt. We tried a strategy the second year we played where we thought, I said, we should really look at some of these really big favorites, the 1s and the 2s, and see what their projected second round point spreads would be.
Yep.
And at the time, Unpredictable.com is not active for college basketball anymore, but at the time they were. And it was pretty clear that regardless who won between St. Mary's and whoever they played as a 7-10, it was going to be about a 3 or 4 point game as underdog versus Arizona. And I told Jesse, we should take Arizona and then just come right back and take the winner of the St. Mary's game because they're only going to be 4 point underdogs, but we're going to get a 18-point favorite in Arizona. And that just seems like a really good, 2-game parlay. No one's going to take the underdog in the second round when they don't have to, and not many people are going to take Arizona. So that's a strategy that we tried the second year, and we're really going to go for that this year. We haven't made our picks yet, but I mean, I want to do some crazy stuff. I want to take.
Do it. I think we'll be on pretty much the same teams because I think I'm doing this pretty much the same thing. I'm taking teams that are favored, maybe not by too much, but also rate to be kind of an underdog in the next game. So
I'm doing the opposite. No, I want really big favorites that are going to be that I now need to lose. I'm taking.
Right, but what I'm saying is, but you're going to need. So you're going to take a big favorite now, even though they're going to be a big favorite in week 2.
Correct. I'm taking like UCLA. I'm taking like UCLA, Kansas.
Okay.
We're gonna try that route.
So you know what, as I like to say to Bobby, when we're on the opposite sides of a thing, well, that's cool because someone's going to win. So Adam's coming in saying. He's saying, I wonder if you should increase your implied win odds on Thursday, Friday, at least without the top seeds, maybe top 2 seeds. See, again, like we're on different pages. There's in no world where I'm playing like a top 2 seed, like you're even a top 3 seed. But so you're saying, is there value to these injury unknowns on big favorites early? Well, you mean like for future games? You know what I mean? Because we're presuming that we know what the odds are in the first game.
Yeah.
We're presuming that that's efficient. But so like, for example, there was one year where Kyrie Irving was for Duke. And I think that he didn't play until like round 2 or something like that. So if you think of a guy's coming back from an injury, you could project him to be a bigger favorite in round 2, maybe.
Yeah. I think that's just so fancy. I mean, it could go different ways. The most important thing in this is not being on absolute chalk. I was looking at the old pick breakdowns. I have 2017 and 2018 here, and in 2017 on the first day, 26% of the people took Baylor. Now I don't know I don't know what seed they were, but that's a disaster to be on that team. I've got another one where 35% of people took Florida State on one day. In 2017, I've got
in round 1.
In round 1, I mean,
wow.
in 2018, Wichita State was picked by 29% of the people in my pool. This is not a small buy-in. It was 100.
Well,
I think it's 100.
I suppose that the teams that are going to be popular are teams that are 9 or 10 seeds that are the favorite, right? I just presume.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So teams
So,
like, I guess, Utah State, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I mean, generally lots of 4s and 5s, 4 and 5 point favorites that are in the middle. Like 4, 5, 6 seeds type thing. A lot of it depends on. This makes it very easy if you play in the same pool twice. You should really, if you play this, you should keep the pick breakdown, store it somewhere on your computer, and then come back to it next year because you're going to see some unbelievable things. I mean, now Wichita State lost in that one I just mentioned. That knocked out 29% of the field. Now you want to avoid chalk at all costs, but the problem is to avoid chalk you have to take some risks. Either you got to take a lower favorited team generally, or you need to take a very high seeded team. The example I mentioned earlier was really sharp because you got an 18-point favorite, and then you didn't even have to pick them to lose the next game. You could just hope they lose the next game, and if not, you just hope they lose the next one. But taking an 18-point favorite than 3-point dog is I mean that's pretty good. I mean, you have a higher combined win percentage than the people that are going to go the other route, where like 5-point favorite, 4-point favorite. I would have a better chance of going with the underdog paired. One that really sticks out. It's hard. It's so hard to know.
Let's go through this. Let's just have some fun. So
let's start on the top left.
Yeah, we're gonna do it by quadrant. That's what we're gonna do. So we'll just come up with our favorite plays. So I'll go first. So I found that the South, of course, why would the South be anywhere but the northwest part of the quadrant, right? If that's not bad enough to ruin your life. The South I actually found was the toughest quadrant to make a pick. Given what I have plenty of picks from other quadrants, I found it very difficult to find a good one from the South. So I am So it's just cool. So I'm between two, and they're actually in the same glut. So for me, it's going to be either Virginia or San Diego State. Both of them are small favorites, and they both rate to be like a very minor favorite, if at all, in the next round. They're going to probably be going against each other.
Well, they do play against each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If they both win, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that's where I'm at in the South, and it was definitely the hardest one for me to come up with. Who do you like in the South?
Oh, it's Baylor. For sure.
Okay, there it is.
I think this is the one that really jumped out to me because now on the graphic that I posted, it's hard to read, but I just want to give people an idea. You need to have a really good visual of what this thing looks like, because the worst thing you can do is make two picks that contradict each other that you're going to force box yourself out. You cannot do that. So
wait! You posted something in Discord?
Yeah, it's a little blurry, but
I'll go there. I'll put it up right now. I get it.
So basically, each day there's a corresponding color. And you have to give yourself you are going to get boxed out. You can play perfect and you can get boxed out in this thing. Yeah. You do not control your own destiny in that way, but you don't want to force box yourself, and people will do it if they don't pay attention. I put the point spreads. They're blurry for the first round.
This is impossible to see.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I wanted people to see the colors, because the colors is the important thing. The reason I like Baylor is I just use Ken Palm numbers. They're going to be close to pick them with Creighton, assuming they play Creighton in the second round. Yeah. Now, Creighton has a much better chance of losing than Baylor, which is bad if you take Baylor. Yeah. But if you take Baylor and Creighton wins, there's like a 50-50 chance Baylor can come around and lose the next game. And if they don't, then they're probably going to play Arizona, and they're going to be a dog to Arizona. So okay. I really like Baylor from the South, and that's a Friday game. I want to jump and make one more comment. Yep. The rules are really important. I'm doing the pool that I've done the last few years. It's with a different group with a lot of the same people, but I wanted one where the picks locked as the game after each game started.
Hold on. We should also specify one thing, that these are. I want to also focus on the day.
That's why it's color coded. In mine, the orange.
So is Baylor a Thursday game or a Friday game?
Baylor's a Friday game.
Oh, so yeah, I want to start with Thursday then. Because,
oh, okay. I thought we were starting each region.
Yeah, no. I did say that, but what I meant was I want to start with the Thursday because on Thursday, like for example, the only games that you know what I mean, like from the South that I could come up with was San Diego and so who are you going to play on Thursday? So
if I had to take from here, I could take someone. I can take any Thursday game elsewhere, but I'd probably take Maryland. If I had to pick a Thursday from here.
Okay, let's go to what's the bottom left? The bottom left is the East.
No, but Eric, I am in a pool where picks don't lock. They lock when your game starts, but the last time to pick is the last game. And I wanted to play one of these pools because then you could take some chances hoping there's an upset and then change your picks based on the results of the games up until that point. So if you're in a pool like that, you really want to make sure that you look at the times of the games because you might want to change your picks. If you have a late pick and there's an upset early, you might want to change your pick because it'll be harder. It might be harder for your team that you're picking to lose based on an earlier upset. So bottom left.
So wait, so I'll start. So in the East, I have a pick for both Thursday and for Friday, and these are probably the chalks. All right, I will say. Okay, I mean, I have to imagine that Tennessee is going to be really chalky because they're a decent favorite and they got Duke waiting for him in round 2. Okay, and Duke's always popular in everything in the United States. Okay, so I have to think Tennessee is going to be somewhat popular, but that happens to be who I like there. And then the other one, this is the only place I'm really going chalk, is it's a very similar type of play, is Kansas State on the other side. And that is actually a Friday game.
That's going to be super chalky. But
that's going to be pretty chalky.
That's pretty attractive. I'm not. We're probably going to shove pile on as a couple teams, but if I was forced to take 4 or 5 teams, I'd have a hard time not taking Kansas State at 8.5. I would not personally. I probably wouldn't touch the 8s and 9s and 10s and 7s here, just because they could win too. There's not going to be that big of underdogs in the second round, assuming the 1 and 2 win. So yeah, I would probably take Kansas State and Tennessee as well. Tennessee is something we have marked down already.
Top right, that is I have no idea what that is.
That's the South.
Okay.
No, so Midwest. No.
In Kansas Top City. Right is Midwest. Of course it is.
Yeah, Midwest.
So what I have in the Midwest is I actually have a couple for Thursday. So my favorite Thursday from the Midwest is actually Auburn. That's my favorite Thursday for the Midwest, but I have options. Like I think Texas is kind of that's like the one top seed I really just don't like, So yeah. I think Texas is, if you want to play that way, is not bad. And the other Midwest from Thursday I don't mind is Texas A&M against Penn State. But my favorite though for the Thursday from the South on the Thursday is Arkansas, and if I just choose to pick them on Friday, it would be either Indiana or Xavier. I think both those are decent.
I like Texas as my favorite on Thursday. I don't like A&M at all. I think they're going to be very chalky. They got plenty of talk about being underseeded. I don't watch college basketball. I watch like most St. Mary's games that are on TV and like 5 Kansas games this year. I know nothing about these teams. All I know is what people are being told, and people are being told that A&M's underseeded. So I'm not going to touch them, and I'm going to be taking Texas for sure, and then hope A&M comes around and beats them. I won't be picking A&M, as like assuming like a 5 or 6 point underdog, but I'm just going to hope they lose there or the next round. A lot of this is hoping. You don't want to. You got to be careful doing that, because the worst thing can happen is they lose that next game and you never pick them. And, pick that underdog to beat that team, because otherwise you start building up this, 20 game parlay.
Yeah.
In order to not get boxed out. For Friday, Friday, man, I mean, I'm pretty high in the Big East because I think that's more like a bracket thing. I think not that people are fading them, but we're going pretty strong on Big East in our bracket pool. I don't know, maybe Iowa State. I have no idea what the line is on versus Pittsburgh. That was just last night.
All right. In the bottom right, which I guess is the West, of course.
Yeah.
So my favorite, the West on Thursday is well, I have two possibles. I like Arkansas, and as you see the theme here, I like Arkansas and I like Northwestern. Just kind of go middling and take those two. And on Friday, if I opt to do that, I like I like the aforementioned St. Mary's. And who is the other West? And TCU.
Yeah, I get it. It's tough. This is just because Eric and I are going different paths doesn't mean one's right, one's wrong.
We'll let you know after the games are over.
Yeah. Well, I really like UCLA, and I actually like Kansas too. I'm really hoping a lot of people take UConn in the first or second round, and I assume we're gonna save UConn to beat Kansas, and that's why we'll probably take Kansas. I think that's because UConn's going to be in Ken Palm. UConn is higher than Kansas, so worst case scenario, UConn's like a 2-point dog. It's probably around pick'em based on those metric numbers. So there's no way I'm taking UConn for the first two games. I think they could be pretty chalky in each of the first two rounds, relatively speaking. So I don't want to use them. That's going to be my big save, and that's going to allow me to take Kansas because my best chance of realizing the value in taking Kansas in the first round is them playing UConn and being an underdog possibly. So I'm probably going to be taking Kansas is my favorite because of UConn's strength, but you can say the same thing for UCLA. Gonzaga's right there and is right there with UCLA, but I think Kansas is going to have a harder time getting to the Elite Eight than UCLA based on the metric numbers, I think. But the important thing is this is just the first step. You have to have not a unique path. That's hard to do. You just don't want to chop this thing 20 ways. It's just not fun.
What are you talking? I don't know what pools you're in. The pools I'm in never make it. I mean, like, you have people get to the end in these things?
Yeah.
That's right, because you don't have to pick two picks a day.
No, yeah. So the third year we played this. When I'm saying my thinking, we should clarify that. Mine's a one only. He's taking. Right. They had to take two games. That is very different. I actually might do a bizarre strategy in your pool if there's a lot of people. A lot meaning multiple thousands. I might take an underdog and a favorite so I can set up a unique path to where maybe it breaks in my favor, and then I can take the favorites, the rest of the way, and not many people be on it because a lot of people got knocked out.
Michael, you're gonna have to trust me on this one. In this particular pool, it's not even thousands, just because you have to pick 4 games in the first 2 days. Like if you can get to the end, you win. I promise.
That is okay. I played this 4 times, and that has not been the case.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We got down to the semifinals on that Saturday, and we missed by 1 game for like a 12-way chop.
Oh my God!
And then the first year we played was the year that Kentucky was 50% to win the title. That ended up being a 2 or 3-way chop. As it was, I don't know how much it would have. The other way would have been like 8, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 because Kentucky was the big favorite. I can't remember how it played out, but these have never. Last year I did not track it, but the 3 years that I had interest, it was chopped multiple ways. And a lot of people lean in the one that I'm playing in this format. They've been leaning very. People are not taking underdogs, so we're going to try to set up a forced underdog situation by getting as many entries as possible to the third round, and then just hoping and then just diversifying our upsets in the third and fourth rounds, and then just hope it works out.
So the chances that I go 4 for 4 in this particular pool is almost zero. But the good news is this: I'm going to actually be in AC this weekend, so I'm going to probably not be able to update. But if I do go 4 for 4, or even if like we're alive, maybe I won't be able to record or anything. Maybe we'll pop into Discord and give an update for Saturday, Sunday. But you guys will see. I mean, once you get through a couple of rounds, it all is just kind of becomes clear. You know what I mean? Like
it becomes clear as long as you didn't put yourself in a bad spot.
Exactly.
By taking too many teams in the same region. How many people are in that
clear,
pool?
But then it becomes clear as well. You'll have no shot. You know what I mean? Like
correct. Yeah.
All right, I got to run. Good luck, everybody, and we'll keep everybody updated in the Discord.